Hey, what's up guys? It's Dr. Price with Action Potential Mentoring, and I want to give you the very basics on how to consider starting to write your personal statement. So one of the things that I did that was really helpful is ever since I began medical school, I kept a note in my notepad of my phone that was A to Z of ideas that came to me about what I could even consider writing in my personal statement. So when you got to sit down and write your personal statement, you're not going to feel like it. You're probably going to procrastinate this for weeks and weeks and weeks until it's like a week out from your personal statement. You haven't even put in a rough draft together and now you're freaking out. So if you can have a basic idea of the assortment of topics that you would want to include, such as things that you see in the hospital, interests that you have, future career goals, these are the types of things that you need to consider. And one of my top tips for writing a personal statement is you want to focus on storytelling. So just saying a basic, I want to do, for example, internal medicine because I like seeing patients. Like that's obviously not going to cut it. But if you can reference an impactful moment or even two moments in your hospital career or as a med student or things that you've seen working as a certified nurse aide or whatever it is that really pulled at your heartstrings and made you have passion for medicine, this is going to make a very strong personal statement. The next advice that I can give you is you want to have a unique approach. You don't want to just rehash your pre-med personal statement. Granted, if you have some things in your pre-med personal statement that were really influential to you, then you can include those or reference them if you have to, but you don't want to just reuse it because if you're applying for residency, you should have a more in-depth understanding of the field of medicine, and you should also have things that are calling to you even more clearly in your mind than they did as a pre-med. So you might have been interested in surgery as a pre-med, but after you did your M3 and M4 rotations, you realized that that's not for you. So obviously your interests change as well as your understanding of the field of medicine itself. So my last tip is whenever you're trying to write your personal statement, one thing that I've seen students do with extreme levels of success is I recommend to write a letter to yourself. And so this is kind of unique, and I haven't seen a lot of people do it, but a few of my students have done this, and usually for the more medicine type specialties, this has better success rates. So I've seen it done well for internal medicine, I've seen it done well for family medicine, and I've seen it done extremely well for psych. One of my students took the position of writing a letter to her previous self as in attending whenever she was in psychiatry. And so basically she positioned herself as, hey, dear so-and-so, this is what you need to keep in mind going throughout this process. And so what she did is she referenced all the impactful moments throughout her life that has pushed her into the way of psychiatry. And she ended the personal statement with, this is why that you do what you do. And I thought that that was extremely impactful. And what it did is it told a really good story, which goes back to tip number one. And she also was able to cohesively tie all of her experiences together in a letter to her previous self. And it was really a cool approach. So I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's to give you an idea that you need to focus on storytelling. You need to be able to have clarity in your personal statement, and you got to engage the reader. Because listen, these program directors and the different residents that are on the board of admissions for your program, they read hundreds of these. They're not going to remember a generic personal statement that says, I've always wanted to be a doctor because that's what I wanted when I was 5 and I thought it was cool, so now I've worked for it for 20 years. And sure, that might be true for some of you, but you got to find something that is going to pull in your reader and it's going to make your personal statement more appealing to listen to. So I hope this helps, guys, and don't just take an idea that I give you and just run with it. What I want you to do is pick and choose out of these little videos of advice about your personal statement and these little tenets that I've seen work. And I want you to formulate that for yourself in a manner that is going to mean a lot to you. So the personal statement is just what I said. It's personalized. So what works for some people may not work for you, but what you need to do is keep in mind that this personal statement is one of the most important aspects of your application because it's going to show your personal side. Here you can talk about experiences and you can talk about what matters to you in a formal setting, and it's going to give you a way to connect with your reader. And that's the biggest thing, is you want to focus on connection with your reader. I hope that helps.